Tell me, is it whack up in the air? Rapping scattered off the gear. I can map him, yeah, yeah. It's like a tracker, get distracted, send him back like in the mail. Not a fraction of them real. Catch him lacking, run the drill. Running through the shit like a motherfucking dage.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. On this one, we're going to be working on the S13 again because on the last episode I showed you fixing the steering rack leak and that has been fixed now. But we have a massive oil leak coming from the rear main seal, or there's also a back plate on the LS1 that I'll insert here, and it's most likely leaking out of that. So to get to that, it's either the engine out or try and master taking the gearbox off the engine while it's in the car. So last time me and Jacob tried to remove the gearbox, so you can split it in half. There's bolts in half that split the gearbox off the bell housing. So last time we failed at that because there was one bolt left and it was stuck behind the wiring harness. I don't know if you guys seen that episode, but there was one bolt left and then we couldn't get it and we didn't know it was there, so we pulled the whole engine out, which is quite easy but still takes longer. Then we seen that bolt there and I was like, oh shit. So it took a while for me to actually remember what happened. And anyway, so what I'm going to do today is I'll show you the leak. It's actually like really bad, and Matsuri is coming up and they want no oil leaks. And if it was a little bit, I wouldn't really care, but it's pissing out. So definitely have to do something about that, and we're going to try and split this gearbox today. So here's the leak here. You can see that dripping there. When the car's off, it's not that bad, but when you turn the car off, it starts pissing out of here, like legit, like draining out like a freaking, like, yeah, no good at all. So this is the T56 gearbox that is huge, and it's in an S chassis, so there's not much room at all anywhere. And then so to get the whole gearbox out, there's these bolts around here, around the bell housing, that actually bolt to the engine. And normally getting a gearbox out, you would undo those bolts around here. You can jack the front of the engine up a tiny bit, which gives you that tilt, which tilts this all back down. And then you can slide the gearbox off like this and take it out with like a transmission jack and lower it down and take it out. Easy as. But with the clearance issues of the tunnel up here, or the firewall, that just doesn't happen. So there's another option that Matt from Car Make Revive told me to try last time and I failed. But you undo these bolts here instead of those, and it takes off this back half of the gearbox, and then it's still quite a big piece, but then you can get to these bolts, the bell housing bolts, easily, and hopefully have enough space to pop this off. And yeah, I think that's what we're going to try today. And yeah, it's a big job, it's a dirty job. There's a lot involved. Got to disconnect this steering rack that I just put on, take the starter motor off, which is difficult as fuck, take the exhaust off, take the tail shaft off, remove these bolts here that hold this bracket on, and then obviously remove all these bolts, take this gearbox off. The wiring harness has to come off, and then the bell housing and the clutch and everything comes off, and then we can get to this back plate, and I'll show you once we get there. That's going to be a mission. It's Sunday morning at 6 o'clock AM right now, and I'm just trying to gather up the courage to take on this freaking job. Yeah. But leaks are shit, and it's going to be so much better once it's fixed. Like, I'm happy as about the power steering leak being fixed. That's awesome. I literally never had a rack that doesn't leak. This one is mint. But yeah, I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone that's been supporting the channel. I really do appreciate all you guys watching all the videos, liking, comments, giving me tips and things. It's feeling great. Like, I'm loving doing this YouTube stuff, and like, man, working on cars is like all I ever want to do. So filming it is just like that little extra bonus, so I can look back on it later in life and see what I've done. You guys can enjoy it, I can enjoy it, and yeah, everyone has a good time. So make sure, if you haven't already, drop a like on the video, drop a comment below, and also subscribe to the channel. It's time to get stuck into it. Okay, so I'm about 2 hours in and making some good progress. Got the tail shaft off, exhaust is off, loosened off all these bolts, and I took the hard line off for the slave cylinder. So to get to these top bolts up here on top of the gearbox is normally hard, but with the T56 even harder. You just got less space. But you get your spanner and you get as many long extensions as you own, if you have enough, and then also a knuckle on there, plus the, I think it's 16mm socket on there, and you can just get to that top bolt on this side. But that is some hectic shit, mate. That's hectic. And also to oh, I forgot, the main key part is you got to loosen off these bolts here so it gives it enough angle. It'll drop down a little bit. And then also another key tip, put some bolts loosely back in just to hold the gearbox in place, because if it starts coming out, you don't want it to hit the floor or bend some shit. So if you put those in loose, it'll just hold it there while you're mucking around up the top there. So I got that one loose on that side. Now I've got to do this side. I'm pretty sure there's one in the top in the middle, which I'm gonna see if I can get to, but if I can't, I'm gonna loosen off the engine mounts and jack up the front of the engine here, and that'll push it up even higher and give me more angle. But it's all gone good. I've got pretty good confidence in this that it's gonna work, so wish me luck. Let's keep going. Okay, I've done it. I've got every single bolt out of this thing, and I'm feeling so like excited and accomplished. Like, there's 2 bolts right at the top there. There's actually 4 that are so hard to get to. I had to stand on this stool and like shine a torch down there and have a look, and then I googled a picture of the T56 gearbox and just seeing where the bolt patterns were, like where the bolts were at the top. Bop, straight on there, boom. It was like too good to be true, just came straight out. So now I've taken out these bolts completely that hold the this is the backyard bracket that came with it, which is actually mint. And yeah, I've taken those bolts out. I've got the stand under here, so we're about to lower this, and hopefully it splits right there and the half of the gearbox comes out, hopefully, and hopefully I don't drop it. That is heavy. That's a heavy bitch. Well, that was a bloody success. Just need a couple of minutes to catch my breath. But we can bleed the slave now, even though we don't have to. I think I might, yeah. I'm just gonna catch my breath. Okay, that was some next level shit. Just pulled that freaking massive heavy gearbox out by myself. That was crazy. I literally thought I was gonna drop it off there, because it wasn't really centered very well. But manhandled a little bit. This bloody whoop-de-whoop, that's me clutch line that goes back to the slave cylinder, which is on the internal. This is what I was talking about the other day. When we were doing all the clutch shit. And to bleed it, you would normally put a spanner in. There's a tiny opening here. You put a spanner in, you can crack this, and that releases the air out of there. But with the bloody firewall on this, you just can't get to it, at all. So, kind of looks like they put a hole in there to maybe get to it. What the fuck? I wonder if that's meant to be there so you can access it. Nah, surely not. But you could cut a hole in there like a window, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to buy the, I'm going to have a look into buying the kit that extends this out, and then you get a bleeder nipple and you put it on like the rail or something, somewhere easy to get to, so that I can actually bleed this, even though somehow it bled itself. I don't understand. Surely it's not bled properly, because we only bled like this half back that way, not this section. Anyway, you can see on the throw-up bearing here, it's had a hard life already. It's definitely got bloody hot the other day when I was didn't have the clutch engaged properly, but I was going full send anyway. Up here, looking at the clutch, this is what we needed to see the other day. So the clutch, looking at that, these fins don't look too healthy, but I think it's okay. Like, there's not crazy amount of wear there. Maybe that's the shape that this brand's meant to be like. I'll have to check what a brand new one looks like. In there, all looks fine. But it'd be interesting once I get the clutch off to have a look at the actual disc and see how much wear is left on it. But you can see here, we've taken the back section of the gearbox off, unbolting it from here, and then this is the bell housing. So now I can easily get to the bolts. I wouldn't say easily actually. I can get to the bolts up the top in there, which are usually like shit house. Last time we did get all these bolts off, but we just couldn't slide it out because this firewall here, there's no clearance there. I don't know if you can see from this angle, but you just can't get it out. So next up for me is to take this off, the bloody steering knuckle, take the starter off, and then undo all the bolts attached to this, get the clutch out, and have a look at that. And then we'll be able to get to the back of the frickin' engine where the oil leak is. But once it's fixed, it should be mint for years, mate. Mint for years. I'm just bloody happy that that works. Like, Matt told me it would work, and then last time I tried it, couldn't do it. And then this time it's working. So that's sick. I'm so bloody happy about that. Because, like, to take the engine out isn't that bad. It isn't that good either. Like, this is a lot easier than taking the whole engine out, I'd say. The only hard thing on taking the engine out of this is the fuel lines are shit because they're AN fittings, and they're just, oh man, for some reason the way they've done it's just shit. And the wiring harness is really shit as well. It's like hard to get to all the clips, but other than that, it's just pull it straight out. But yeah. And to pull the engine out, you would have to do most of the shit I just did anyway with the exhaust and the drive shaft and that, and the wiring harness on the gearbox. So I've really sped up the process a lot here. And yeah, let's get the bell housing off. That's like the tiniest gap. Legit just fitted out. Look how much oil is in the bottom of that. Oh, mate. Oh, I didn't think it was going to come out, eh? Just fits. How's this for clearance, eh? Oh, everything is just working out. Just beautifully. Like, I'm having a good day today. It's Sunday today, shit's working out, and I'm feeling bloody good. Alright, so it's not good, but it's kind of what I expected to see from when the clutch was slipping that time. Yeah, she was getting bloody hot. Have a look at this. So this is the this is what happens when your clutch heats up and you still keep drifting. It's got meat on there, but it has been severely worn, way more than what it should have been. There's even like big chunks missing out of that plate. Ooh. Yeah, no good, no good. And then this freaking pressure plate is copped of hiding. Hey, look at that. That's cooked. I should definitely get a new clutch. I could run this one for a bit, but it's really just only gonna last so long. I don't know. I have to figure out what I'm gonna do, because I'm pretty sure that that is seriously worn out. But anyway, I kind of knew that I was gonna find that. It still works, but it's cooked. Look how much freaking dust fell out of there. And this, holy shit, that has been hot. like mega hot, and that was all from that bloody what do you call it, the bloody clutch wheel, the clutch pedal not engaging all the way. So basically it was pushing the throw-up bearing forward, so I was pushing this forward and pushing onto the prongs on the other side of this, and then pushing the plate, but not enough, only just touching it, so it wasn't enough pressure to engage properly, and then when it gets hot it wasn't engaging at all. So that was what the issue was there. But man, that's like a really nice flywheel. I wonder if I can get that machined and reuse it. Guys, we're kicking goals here. We're getting shit done. So this is what I was talking about. The rear main seal is this circular seal right here. There is oil coming out of it, so I'm definitely gonna have to replace that. But also this backing plate here, all these screws that you can see there, or bolts, and then there's two that go up this way. That is a backing plate that has a seal in there, and that also leaks. So I'm gonna replace both of them. It's one or the other, but I'm just gonna replace both. And the other day, I actually, I did a dumb mistake, and there's two bolts that go up here, right? There's two bolts up underneath the sump here, and I was like, oh, I'll just tighten it, and it'll fix the leak. So I tightened this, and it snapped, it went ka-tang, and now it's snapped off up in there, and I was like, Jesus, you silly bugger. So it didn't change anything, it didn't increase the oil leaking at all. So the gasket, or there's like a steel seal on the top of the sump here with some glue on there, that's holding in this corner, but obviously I want to put the screw back in there, and I was thinking, shit, that's not going to be able to be fixed until the engine comes out and separate the sump, and then like use a helicoil or a tap and remove that thread that's stuck in there. But when we take this backing plate off, that thread is inside here, so we'll be able to easily get to it and easily remove it. So I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, there's shit just going really well here, and I didn't even disconnect most of the starter motor. I just took the two bolts out of it and just let it sit there, so that's nice. But yeah, just gonna undo these bolts here, take that backing plate off, have a look and see what we can see. Alright, so we're gonna split this into two videos. The first half has just been, you know, pulling it all apart. The second half is going to be installing this gasket. This is the back plate gasket, or the rear housing gasket, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to install that and the rear main seal. So not exactly sure where it's leaking from yet, but you'll see that on the next episode, which is tomorrow night. But basically, yeah, we're just going to unbolt the backing plate. We're going to take that off and take the rear main seal out. And there's a special alignment tool that goes in there, so if you want to see the special way of doing it to make sure it never leaks ever, then watch the next episode. But thanks heaps for tuning in for this one. I'm so happy that the freaking gearbox came off. Thanks to Matt, you're a legend. And yeah, so much easier than last time, so I'm happy as about that. Just thanks heaps for all you guys for watching the videos. And yeah, I appreciate all the comments, and everything on the last videos have been real constructive. And yeah, keep it positive, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you hit the like button, drop another comment, and subscribe.